Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. We are officially in emergency mode. Yes, Remy Ma is reportedly in critical condition, and her family is pleading with the public for prayers. According to multiple sources, the same woman who went out to bars with Nicki, who returned from prison looking like a queen, is now fighting for her life, and the doctors aren't sugarcoating anything. One insider nurse reportedly said, "We're doing everything we can, but it's not looking good." Wait, what happened to her? Why is everything being kept so quiet? Why is Papoose refusing to speak to the media while he is seen at the hospital with tears in his eyes and a folder clutched to his chest? Not only that, but there are also rumors circulating about a leaked voice memo, a toxic betrayal, and an enigmatic visitor who visited her hospital room just hours ago. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back 72 hours, because what began as a routine hospital checkup turned into one of the most terrifying celebrity health emergencies we've seen in years. It was supposed to be a private visit between Remy Ma and her doctor, with no security, no cameras, and no media. By midnight, hospital staff were calling in extra nurses, and Papoose was seen pacing the lobby, and Ray's mother broke down in tears outside the intensive care unit. What the hell happened? According to an anonymous EMT who spoke to our source, under condition of anonymity, Remy collapsed just minutes before she was scheduled to meet a private health consultant. The EMT claimed she wasn't responsive, and her breathing was shallow, so they rushed her through the back entrance to avoid. And that's when the rumors began, because this wasn't just weariness, it wasn't just stress, it was something deeper, something hidden, and nobody close to her wants to talk about it. Now, let's face it, Remy Ma isn't new to the news. We've seen her come out of prison, rise again, compete in the rap game, and walk the red carpet like the Bronx queen she is. However, according to internal hospital communications that were brought to light by an admin team whistleblower, the doctors implemented a level 4 containment protocol, which is normally reserved for patients who may need intense privacy because of media attention. This is because, according to the doctors, Remy Ma flatlined for 42 seconds before being revived. Yes, flatlined, one nurse who posted anonymously on a private healthcare site said. According to sources, security footage shows Clarissa leaving the hospital visibly upset, clutching her phone and mumbling something under her breath that staff couldn't make out. One hospital janitor claimed she heard the words, what message it was for, and who it was for. The forum wrote that the patient in room 14 required full emergency intervention. Code Blue was initiated, and the patient's vitals were unstable. The real kicker is that her family didn't even know why until hours later, because the only person present when it all went down was Clarissa Shields. Yes, the same Clarissa who has been in the news more for her alleged friendship with Papoose than for her boxing career. Fans are asking why Ray's phone vanished for more than 2 hours and then mysteriously reappeared, wiped clean. Something is wrong. This comes just days after Remy and Papoose were spotted fighting at a private event in Harlem, where Clarissa was also seen arriving late and leaving early. Eyewitnesses reported that Remy appeared exhausted and distracted, and at one point, she had to excuse herself to the bathroom for more than 20 minutes. They are also wondering if it was the last straw, after weeks of emotional stress, internal family pressure, and the alleged betrayal that has been building behind the scenes. Rumor has it that a private letter was discovered in her personal bag, and it details months of emotional neglect, career pressure, and the deep fear that she was being replaced. Tired of keeping everything together. If anything happens to me, know that I tried to protect us all. And that, ladies and gentlemen, sent shivers down our spines. Meanwhile, Papoose has stayed mostly silent, posting only a black square to Instagram, with the caption, "Heavy lies the crown and pray for her." No pictures or updates, just that, and fans are going crazy. One fan tweeted, "I knew something was off with Clarissa being around so much. Remy deserves peace, not pain. And pray for Remy." Another fan went viral on TikTok saying, "Y'all going oh to act like Remy didn't look dead inside at that last red carpet has been building up." And guess what? They're not wrong. This isn't just a one-time incident. This is the eruption of something that has been simmering beneath the surface for months. The abrupt weight loss, the cryptic captions, the rumors about late-night arguments between her and Papoose. And now that Remy is unconscious, her family is in a panic, and Clarissa is refusing to respond to any media inquiries. The silence is becoming unbearably loud. However, the question is what will happen next? The hospital will leak the missing file, the voice memo that no one wants you to hear, and it will blow this story wide open. The moment the rumors spread on blogs, the internet erupted, and Remy was the last person to see her papoose post a black square. However, nothing, that is, nothing, could have prepared the public for what happened next. The memo contains a female voice that is thought to be Remy's. She sounds groggy, emotional, and breathless, and they think, I don't know, but I've seen the texts. I've seen the messages between them. According to sources close to the hospital, the message was recorded during a private check-in where Remy was still conscious at the time and talking to her nurse about stress, insomnia, and feeling mentally broken, but it gets worse. Apparently, a second file was leaked a few hours later. This file was purportedly from a private conversation between Clarissa and a mystery caller who was accidentally captured in a hospital hallway. She's not going to make it through this, the voice whispered, and honestly, I don't care anymore. She brought this on herself. The backlash was immediate on social media, into a battleground with Twitter exploding with hashtags like NutPrayerForMe, Chlor's Exposed, and What Did Papoose Know? Fan pages changed their profile pictures to candles, and TikTok was overflowing with fan edits of Ray's happiest moments layered over melancholic music, with captions like, "She didn't deserve this." However, as fans grieved, a new wave of theories took over after a close friend of the family allegedly revealed that Papoose had been suspicious for weeks that he had discovered something in Ray's phone, that he knew about the energy shift between Remy and Clarissa, and that he warned Remy to cut her off, but she didn't. This leads us to the next twist. Papoose allegedly hired a private investigator. Yes, a wiretap type of investigator, the PI whose name we won't mention for legal reasons we definitely made up, discovered that Clarissa frequently made unlogged visits to Remy's house while Papoose was out of town. Add to that the suspicious screenshots that have been circulating online that show Clarissa texting someone named Pap at odd hours. Of course, none of this has been officially confirmed, but that hasn't stopped fans from piecing it together. For example, when Remy mysteriously collapses, Clarissa is there, Papoose radio silent, 2 voice memos leak, and now a third party confirms Papoose had already suspected something shady. Accidentally posted a picture of Papoose leaving the hospital late at night with a folder in his hand, a hoodie over his head, his shoulders slumped, and his eyes red. The headline read, "Papoose leaves ICU in tears, private files in hand." A GoFundMe then appeared, claiming to raise $40,000 in less than 6 hours. But hours later, Papoose wrote on Instagram, "We didn't start this. Please don't donate to anything unless it comes directly from us." So who started it, and who is making money off of her suffering? There is a wild theory that a certain PR firm that is known for scandal flipping is responsible for both the leaks and the phony fundraiser. And the name associated with that firm is an associate who used to work with Clarice's manager. Yes, we can make stuff up, but that's not the point. Meanwhile, fans are attacking one another in the comments section. Stuff is what happens when you don't keep your peace? No, Remy was always too good for them. Clarissa shady, you don't go to your friend's house at 1 in the morning. I just wanted to check in because Papoose knew he just didn't know how to stop it. As of right now, there have been no press conferences, no official charges, and no statements from Clarissa, but guess who did speak? Ray's cousin Lisa, yes. The same Lisa who was with her during the 2007 sentencing posted a mysterious Instagram story. Isn't the first time Remy has been betrayed? But this time, you guys played with her life. Now, we have a potential love triangle, an unconscious rap legend, a messy pile of voice leaks, suspicious direct messages, and fans demanding the truth. But they are unaware that Papoose is going to change the game because a hospital insider just leaked another piece of this puzzle. A sealed envelope marked confidential for Calvin only, Calvin means Papoose, was delivered to Remy's room. When the envelope was opened, the insider revealed that it contained a confidential medical evaluation about Remy's condition and how she got there, along with a full breakdown of blood reports, stress level metrics, and traces of medication. That wasn't in her prescriptions. That's right. There were signs of sedatives that could cause confusion, fatigue, or even unconsciousness if mixed with the wrong dosage. The hospital hasn't released a statement, but a second nurse posted on a closed Reddit forum, claiming that the test didn't match her intake chart or that someone gave her something she didn't know about, or someone changed her treatment before she arrived. And that's when Papu lost it. According to a family friend, he called an emergency legal meeting from the hospital chapel, put the phones on speaker, and had all the family members within earshot demand a thorough investigation, not just into the medications, but also into the security tapes, visitation logs, and yes, Clarissa's involvement. Because, as you may recall, she was the last person to be seen in Remy's room before she passed away, and the leaked hallway footage confirms that she was the only person who requested privacy access to Remy's chart earlier that day. This usually requires medical clearance, so what was she doing? Clarissa's team sent out a one-line statement saying she visited as a friend and nothing more, but fans weren't buying it. Clarissa and Remy are seen fighting near the nurse's station, in another low-quality, blurry, but real clip that was leaked. Clarissa turns away, visibly shaking, and Remy's face is pale. The timestamp ends just before she collapses, and the internet goes into full meltdown mode. If this is true, Remy was spiraling, so stop blaming Clarissa Papoose. If it gets any messier, a voice note appears. But this time, it's Amber, Remy's old friend who is now a distant associate and possibly an enemy. Amber's voice is cold and calculated, so if this blows up, it's not my problem. I just helped deliver what she wanted. And Clarissa cited malicious interference during a medical crisis, but that's not all. Papoose held a private press briefing outside the hospital with no media allowed inside. It was an official statement that said, "This is bigger than any headline, bigger than music. My wife is fighting for her life. And now we're fighting for the truth." Celebrities began speaking up, and Cardi B reposted Remy's photo with the caption, "This doesn't feel right. Praying hard." Joe posted, "Real ones don't fold when the pressure comes." And Nicki Minaj liked a tweet that said, "Say what you want, but no woman deserves this." That tweet alone received 12 million views in 8 hours. Meanwhile, the hospital started an internal audit, and the board confirmed that several staff members were being questioned regarding chart tampering and unauthorized file access. Remy Ma was still sedated and had been moved to a secure wing with no phones, cameras, or Clarissa Papoose. According to sources, he hasn't left the building and has been sleeping on the hospital sofa, eating cafeteria food, and recording everything in a small black notebook. 2 days later, Papoose uploaded a video to Remy's official YouTube channel called Simply the Truth. There was no introduction or fancy edit, just him sitting next to Remy's bed with her hand in his. "We've been through a lot, but it nearly broke me. What they did and what they tried to do won't go unanswered." And the world listened. The comment section exploded with support. Fans offered prayers, lawyers offered pro bono help, and even former enemies started reaching out. However, not everyone was happy because, according to a digital security expert who looked through the metadata, Papoose received an encrypted email with just one sentence and no sender. The email was traced back to a device once connected to Amber, and now Clarissa's legal team is reportedly preparing for a full defamation suit, claiming that the accusations and voice notes were heavily manipulated, edited by artificial intelligence, and illegally distributed. However, Papoose isn't backing down, and he's now preparing to release a documentary series with hospital clearance to tell Remy's story his way. Episode 1. The Day. Everything changed in the meantime. Opened her eyes for the first time in days, according to her cousin Lisa. She whispered, "What happened while I was out?" And Papoose simply replied, "Everything." Now, they're planning their next course of action, and it's not just about recovery. It's about exposure, retaliation, and justice, because what began as a health scare has turned into a full-fledged media war, and Papoose is fighting to destroy the system that attempted to break her. We're not talking metaphors anymore. We're talking real court filings, real names, real subpoenas, and the final chapter hasn't even begun yet. So if you thought this was over, you couldn't be more wrong. What exactly was in those sealed files that Papoose is keeping so close, ladies and gentlemen? This isn't just a scandal, it's a blueprint for betrayal. And the worst part is that it might not be over yet. If you think Remy deserves justice, leave a comment below. If you think Papoose is being too quiet, tell us what you think he's really planning. If you have any theories about what's coming next, please hit the subscribe button right away and set the bell.